Oh yeah, sexy biscuits. Nice.
Long was 1975. A YouTuber on the rise, reviewing games late at night and sometimes friends. But Long was 1975.
So here we are, continuing my look at the home ports of Thunderblade, and this time we'll be taking a look at it on the SEGA Mastersystem, which is basically the first home ports of it outside of the micro. So basically I'm talking on console. So this beats the Mega Drive, although obviously the Mega Drive was a launch title but came out the same year, the end of that year, and this beats the PC Engine version. I remember seeing a very brief review for this in Mean Machines, when Mean Machines was just a couple of pages in the middle of CVG. I love that title screen and I love the music, but yeah, being a massive fan of Thunderblades in the arcade, I looked at it and drooled at it and was absolutely blown away and had to have it. If you look at the demo here, because this is an arcade port, how it attempts and arguably pulls off the 3D sections is absolutely fantastic for a Sega Master System game. And obviously with it being an arcade port, you could argue it's even more ambitious, far more ambitious I would say, than the Mega Drive port. Well, Super Thunderblade isn't technically a port, but you know what I mean. So I had this back in the day on my Master System. It cost me $24.99 and I was awful at it as a kid, but in my defense, it is absolutely balls horrifically hard. Excuse me, being an ex-helicopter pilot gives me a gacky throat. And it only has 3 lives because, well, we were made of sterner stuff back then. Anyway, you all know Thunderblade. It's a vertical scrolling top-down shoot 'em up with into the screen sprite scaling stages, and that is true on this version. Let's get into it. Right, there you go, stage 1, score 0, 3 helicopters. Right, so it's basically a standard vertical shoot 'em up. Awkward pauses in my voice there because this is horrifically hard, as you can see, and talking and playing at the same time is not my bag. So obviously it doesn't even attempt to do the sprite scaling, which you would expect, and the enemies just come at you in a standard, you know, vertical scrolling shoot 'em up fashion. You know, they don't, waves basically, they don't come up from the floor, which is also to be expected. However, as shoot 'em ups go, it's a great looking one on the Master System, one of the best. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. I do not know how I'm still alive. Obviously you can fly over the top of the buildings, which makes sense. We do have rocket, which is a secondary button, which is a bit awkward. It has a slight pause, but essentially you do have your Vulcans and you do have rockets. There you go. The tanks, obviously they are ground-based vehicles, so I mean that is accurate to the arcade, but they are absolute bastards, and this is hard. The way your rockets work as well means there is no actual way. Look, the enemy's far from the rear as well. There's no actual way to shoot multiple targets. But look at this. Look at me die. This is incredibly impressive. Blocky, yes, but at least the buildings have a level of depth to them. This is phenomenal for the Master System, and all the 3D levels do this. They fully attempt to replicate their arcade counterparts. You can argue not even the Mega Drive does that. I think this is a fantastic port, and when I saw this screenshot in the magazine, I was blown away and absolutely had to have it. I still have a rocket, and it automatically hits the floor. Yeah, I had to have it. And then when I saw it moving in motion as a kid, blown away. I was more than happy with this back in the day, as I was, you know, a Thunderblade fan, a massive Thunderblade fan from the arcades. Shite, but why only 3 lives and no continues? I don't know if there are any cheats, just to remind you that you're dead. Brutal. Yeah, I don't know if there are any cheats, because loads of Master System games had, you know, cheat codes and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure I don't think there are. But yeah, this does all, as far as I can remember, or most of the levels from the arcade, and does it in the 2-tier fashion, where you get a vertical top-down scrolling section, and you get it into the screen, you know, pseudo sprite scaling section, and you get the bosses. It's you know, the ship, the huge planes and stuff like this. This is a fantastic port, and I believe it's a really, really small cartridge. You could argue with the limitations of the hardware, this is probably a more impressive port than it is on the PC Engine. Remember, limitations of the hardware. Let's see if we can have another, well, we can have another go. Let's see if I can actually get somewhere. So yeah, I mean, and arguably I was better at this as a kid, but like I said, if you look at this stage, look at them firing from behind, just because, you know, it's not quite hard enough. But like I said, this is probably one of the better vertical scrolling shoot 'em ups graphically on the system. No auto fire, because why would there be an auto fire in a state-of-the-art military helicopter? Right, I'm going to concentrate on the tanks. And they did nothing. The tanks, they do nothing. Oh, shizen. But look how much stuff is going on the screen at once. And look, have I even seen flicker yet? Oh, we got all of them. Oh, fuck. Shite. Yeah, note to self, don't focus on the tanks. Keep round about the bottom left hand side of the screen if you can, and take him out. I apologise, you are not going to see much on this, but to be fair, hey, it doesn't matter how close you are to the tanks, good to know. I don't think anyone will, you know, argue with me about how bloody hard this game is. Now, revisiting this, I still want to revisit the Spectrum version, but revisiting this is reminding me about how many of the SEGA sprite scalers got ports to the Master System to, I guess, capitalise on their success, on their brand recognition in the arcades, to try and sell the system, which didn't get ports, or certainly didn't get ports till later on the Mega Drive, such as Outrun. Definitely going to revisit Outrun. And obviously, Shinobi is fantastic on the Master System. Never got a true port. There's a homebrew version now that's absolutely fantastic that I have played, but never got a port to the Mega Drive, which I still think to this day is criminal, especially with how good the PC Engine version is. Awkward pauses, awkward pauses. Still, they're more forgiving than awkward deaths. Oh, but look at it. Yeah, look at the speed, the number of sprites. A little bit flicker on the tanks, a little bit flicker on my death. True story, you flicker when you die. But this is impressive as tits. See, I'm so scared. I'm staying in this side of the screen. For him. Which I managed to take out. I feel like I've achieved something, even if I don't make it to the end of the level, which I'm probably not going to. Because look, why would you have the tank? If you keep moving, they will not shoot. I just lied, obviously, then, because he did. But, yeah, that's brutal that the tanks do that in an already brutal game. So apologies you're not going to see much, but at least you got to see the second stage. But yeah, I think this is a fantastic port. Obviously, you do not have to worry about hitting the buildings. Just like real life. It's scary how accurate this is to real life. Could train to be a helicopter pilot off this. It's killing my hand. Oh, so you can hit the tanks. Wow, one will go. You can hit the tank. Look how cool that is. Because the circular motion was working quite well, but obviously because I was skimming the floor, I hit the tanks. So something else it chucked into the game just to remind you that it is boss and you are shite. I am aware that there are people on the tubes who can piss through this. But they are gods amongst men, and I am not. There is something strangely satisfying when you do hit a tank with a rocket, much like real life. I mean, if there are any Master System games, PC Engine games, arcade conversions, Sega ones, to be fair, that you would like me to revisit, because I like going back to games 4 or 5 years later, then let me know. Because yeah, it's fun to revisit stuff, especially when you had it as a kid. Oh, look at that. Much death from above. I knew it was going too well. I'm staying here. No, I'm not. I'm dying here. Again, why? There is no... This is a kid's fucking game. And I dropped 25 quid on this. I dropped quarter of a ton. I don't even know what that is adjusted for inflation, but it's a lot of fucking money. So, And I know we were made of sterner stuff back then. But there is no excuse for not giving us... Fuck. Continues. One more go. I sound like a kid. This is how I played it as a kid. One more go. Yoink. I hit 2 out of 3 tanks. I've achieved something today. The music's great. You're probably not hearing it over me talking bollocks and the sound effects, which are chunky and also fantastic, because I like chunky sound effects. Yeah, the music is brilliant. Oh, I've got to keep moving because they're going to fire and shit. Ooh. And words to that effect. These are all real things, noises. Oof. That real helicopter pilots make, didn't you know? Look at him. Look at him tracking his turret. Bastard. Oh, there's something very satisfying about shooting the tanks, I'm not going to lie. Holy shit! Look, look, they're still going to shoot. I made it with 3 lives. I've definitely achieved something today. Fuck! Brutal! Absolutely brutal. There must be a way to hack this. I would love to see the later stages, and not just in the title screen. Thing is, that's impressive how they come at you, but it makes it damn difficult to see any of the tanks along the floor, and also I'm shitting my pants when they get that close. Fuck monkeys! This game is just not fair. Much like being a real military helicopter pilot, I would imagine. Also, not having... See, look what it does there, just one side of buildings. Not having an autofire is cramptastic. I got forearms like Popeye now. Oh, oh, Jesus. He was also an amazing helicopter pilot. True story, not many people talk about that. But then you would expect the Son of God to be a pretty shit-hot pilot. Oh. Holy cow. No, 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 no. Look at it! I'd like the next stage, please. And possibly burger and chips. Oh, I can't take any more. Brutally long as well. They're brutally long these days. It's Thunderblade on the SEGA Mastersystem. It's an absolutely fantastic port that punches way above its weight. It's just absolutely fucking brutally hard. Anyway, as always, I'd love to know what you think, especially if you played this back in the day. And how do you think it compared to the arcade? Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later.